Okay, for the people who don't have not seen the URL, you just type AWS console in Google. You will be redirected to the same one. Okay, are you seeing the sign in into the console? Right. So whenever you sign in, you will be redirected to the same stuff. Once you start using AWS, it is nothing but console.aws.amazon.com. Since I use it often, I go through that URL directly. There is no need for you to know all of that. See, that will come by when you use it a lot. Just AWS console, Google for it. You will be taken forward to this. All right. Okay. I want to create a virtual machine, and virtual machine in Amazon is called as EC2. I'll click on EC2, and then I would say that I want to launch a instance. Okay. So whenever I'm launching an instance, I'm seeing different images over here. I'm seeing different images over here. So let us assume that I want Red Hat. I select Red Hat. And if you see, there is one machine which is automatically selected which says free tier eligible. For most of your practice, remember that we'll be using that because that is covered under free tier. Right? You can use this machine for 750 hours. You can use this machine for 750 hours per month. Okay. So for the people who are new, I'm just trying to explain this plan very quickly. Okay, all of us understand postpaid mobile plans, right? 750 minutes of free calling, 750 minutes of free calling, and the unit of charge is 1 minute. For your postpaid, the plan is, the unit of billing is 1 minute. You have made a call to your friend and spoken for 30 minutes, 30 seconds. So how much of free time is still left? 749 or 749.5? Why? You have spoken only for 30 seconds, right? But why 1 minute is charged? Because the least unit was 1 minute. In the AWS, the least unit is 1 hour. The least unit is 1 hour. So whether you use the machine for 1 minute or 59 minutes, 1 hour will be cut from your usage. All right. So you can create a machine and use it, one machine for the complete month, or create the machine, use it, remove the machine, and use many machines per month. Right? In DevOps, for our practice, I would encourage using multiple machines rather than having one machine for the complete month. Am I clear with my statement? Rather than using one machine, let us use multiple machines and let us use them for a limited period of time. So since there are 750 machines, 750 hours, I can use 750 virtual machines, each with 1 hour. It is still free. It is still free. That's the whole point. I want you to use many machines rather than one machine for the complete month. Right? So I'll go over here. Next, I'm not really worried about the rest of the details. I'm just going with next. Okay. Next. Launch. Okay. This is one thing which you should be very much aware of. In AWS, generally to log in into the Linux machines, for example, just now in Vagrant, to log in into the machine, we said that username is Vagrant and password is Vagrant. But AWS doesn't give you passwords. AWS doesn't give you passwords. It uses something called as key-based authentication. It uses something called as key-based authentication. So here you need to generate a key. You need to generate a key. All right. So since you are creating this machine for the first time, you can create a new key pair and just say download this key pair. All right. And then just say launch your machine. So for now, this packer.file, PEM file, whatever has been downloaded, is much like your password. So if you want to log in into AWS, you have to give this file. If you lose this file, there is no other way to regenerate. There is nothing called as forgot password. Forgot password means lost machine. Right? If you forgot the password, there is no point in using that machine again. Remove that machine, try to create a new key pair, and then use the machine. Use the other machine. Right? So key pairs, please be very careful with them. right? They are not like passwords where you click on reset password and all of that stuff, right? Okay, now I go over here, I see this machine, I click on connect. Okay, remember in the case earlier, I have created a Linux machine in Vagrant and I have used this command ssh vagrant @ IP address 192.168.33 dot, right? In AWS also use the same command. You just say that ssh whatever the username it is. So the username in the case of Red Hat, which Amazon creates for you, is called as EC2 user @ whatever the IP address or name of the machine. And remember, here you have two IP addresses. One is public IP address, the other one is, don't confuse this with public and private of virtualization. That is a confusion point over here. This public networking in the case of cloud is an IP address which is accessible from anywhere. Public in the case of cloud is an IP address which is accessible from anywhere, right? So you use that public IP address or public host name. Host name is generally referred as DNS name. Fine. But whenever we did this, it used to ask a password. We have done ssh vagrant @ 192.168.33.10, and it has asked me what is your password. But in the case of Amazon, do we have password? No. So we have a file. So what I do is I would say -i, which is identity file, and I will tell where my file is. So packer dot, simple, same command with one extra argument to it, which is -i, which is an identity file, right? Now let me go ahead and look at this command. Okay, open wherever you have PEM file. Open this in wherever you have, oh sorry, it will be in downloads generally whenever you download it. Go over here and just say git bash here and then insert this. So you can log in into this machine using DNS name or public IP address. It is your choice. But Amazon recommends using DNS names over IP addresses. That's why it gives you a default command with that. Even if you are copying and pasting, did we understood what that command is? SSH -i, the key file which we have downloaded, the username which is EC2-user @ public IP address or public host name of that machine, right? I click on enter and I log in into this. Simple, right? I'm logged in inside the Red Hat machine and I can execute the basic Red Hat command sudo yum install git, whatever the Red Hat basic commands are. Fine. Yes, simple. Yeah, now let us examine that key part. So since we will not be doing this again and again, let us examine that key part. What is that key? Okay, so let us understand that this is a scenario where it is. Okay, you want to lock your home, right? You have used a, what is this nonsense, man? Why I'm not seeing this? Yeah, okay, fine. So for your home you have two keys. Let us assume this is your key. You have two keys. How do the two keys look like whenever you have for your home? Are they same or different? Right? Yeah. So this is called as symmetric key. Generally in encryption, whenever you are trying to lock and unlock using the same key, we call it as symmetric key encryption. All right. So for example, I want to send my credit card details to you in a postcard. This is my use case. I want to send my credit card number, CVV number, all the stuff which you can basically use to swipe my credit card, right? I want to send it on a postcard. Is it safe? So then how do you send it? I want to send it. There is no other option. I have to send it via postcard. How can I send it? You will try to use some sort of mechanism so that only you and the person who is reading will understand what you have written. Yes, just like how doctors prescribe medicines. Only one medical shop knows what he has written, right? Even though after Supreme Court rules, whatever it is, that is an example, right? So I am trying to send my details, and let us assume that my credit card number is something like this. Okay, what I will do is, as a notation, okay, I will try to say that whenever I am adding any stuff, adding any number, I will be doing -1. For every digit, I'll go and do -1, and you do +1, something like this, right? Okay, that is what basic stuff is. Basic stuff is, right? Do you know Julius Caesar? In which century did he belong to? First century. మరి అంత ముసలోడు కాదండి, right? So he used to use this encryption approach for trying to send some very sensitive political informations to other I don't know what they call. In Rome, they used to have all of these people who used to make some decisions, right? Now if you use the same strategy in this world, right, your stuff will be hacked. Yes or no? +1, -1, gone. That is not happening. So we need some strong algorithms, all right? So whenever we are using strong algorithms, the one concept is whether you are using the same key for encryption and same key for decryption, or whether you use a different key, right? Different key is called as an asymmetric encryption, right? Different key is a case where you will have two kinds of keys. One is called as a public key, the other one is called as a private. Whenever you are having these two keys, the basic property is, whenever you encrypt a message using public key, whenever you encrypt a message using public key, you cannot decrypt using public key. You need a private key. So it is like your home has two keys, A and B. If you lock your home with key called as A, the only way to unlock your home is you need B. If you are locked your home with B, the only way to unlock your home is you need A, right? So in this concept, private key is something which you keep with yourself, and public key is something which you will give to the other person, right? Now let me open this PEM file, whatever we have downloaded. Okay, downloads. What is this file? RSA based private key. So private key you have with you, and the public key for this is with Amazon. Even if you change a single character in this, those keys will not match. Those keys will not match. That's a whole concept, right? So whenever you are logging in with a private key. Amazon has a public key. It will try to see whether these keys match or not. If they are matching, it will allow you to log in. Otherwise, it will not allow you to log in. And generating these keys is quite simple. What you do is, you have git bash installed in your system, right? Yes, I'm doing it on Linux itself. Let me do it on a Linux machine, because this machine anyway I'll be deleting it. Okay, so I do ssh-keygen. Then it is trying to tell that I am trying to create a key which is both private and public RSA key pair. Then he's asking for that will be the location of my file. I would say yes. Okay, now let me go to the folder home directory. How do you go to home directory in Linux? cd tilde symbol, right? Yeah, and in this you want to see a hidden directories. Hidden directories in Linux generally start with dot, right? So ls minus, are you seeing any folder called as .ssh? Just get into this .ssh folder and do ls. You are seeing two files, id_rsa and id_rsa.pub. Let me just look at the contents of them. So cat id_, RSA. What is this file? Is it not the same thing like what we have seen just now in our PEM file? Yes. Okay. And then let me look at cat id underscore RSA dot. So this is a public file. This is what Amazon has. So whenever you are creating a key pair, you are creating a public and private key. Amazon has this public key, right? Remember this, these two keys only work. If you change even a single line in that, they're not going to work. And you can create those two keys with the same command. It is not two different commands. So there will be no way to regenerate. There will be no way to regenerate. In Amazon, we use this concept. In Azure, you can use this or password. You can go with normal passwords also in Azure. But even in Azure, you can go with this approach. You can say that I don't want to use passwords. I want to use keys, right? Keys are considered to be a safer mechanism rather than passwords, right? Now, we have basically created this machine. Let us recollect what we have done. So what is it I have done? I've gone over here. I said launch instance, right? And I selected something over here which had something called as Red Hat. What is this? This is reusable image of Amazon, yes or no, which has Red Hat operating system, right? Now let me go to some other area over here, which is quite interesting. I want to have SAP in Amazon cloud. I want to have SAP in Amazon cloud. Are you seeing something called as marketplace over here? Yes. Let me go over here and search SAP. Are you seeing something? This is a reusable image which consists of SAP software. So who is building these images and how can these images be built? Right? I'm speaking about SAP. Tomorrow I might speak about the software which your company is building. Right? So I want to build reusable images in cloud so that whenever someone launches the application using this, they get my application directly. They get my application directly, or they get some amount of reusability, right? They get my dev environment, they get my test environments, whatever it is. So whenever you want to create any reusable virtual machine images, we need to create basically some sort of imaging. And remember, creating the images in Amazon follows one different way of doing it. Creating the images in Azure might follow other route. Creating the images in VMware might be other route. So creating these images, what was done is there is a software from HashiCorp. Okay, what they have done is they said that rather than doing all of this, let us have one way. Let us have one way. So I'll have one tool over here. I'll have one tool over here, right? And this tool will have intelligence. This tool will have some intelligence so that if you give an input to my tool, if you give my input to a tool and provide me with the essential details, I can create reusable images in various virtual worlds. So for example, I can create in AWS, I can create in VMware, right? I can create in any other stuff. For example, you can create in Oracle Cloud, you can create in Google Cloud. So whenever you want to create any reusable image, these guys are telling that you have to follow the same way, right? Is this sensible, or knowing 101 ways is sensible? Right? That's the whole purpose of learning a tool which can create reusable images, and the tool which we use for this is called as Packer. The tool which we use for this is called as Packer. And to this tool, which is a Packer, we provide a JSON file. We provide a JSON file. In this JSON file, we will tell what has to be done. In this JSON file, we'll tell what has to be done. And Packer file will have some important areas. Let us not get into even serious documentation about it, but let me go to the same github.com, a square zone, whatever I've done. Okay, github.com/a square zone. Okay, and in this there is something called as Packer zone also. Okay, let me go over here and let me open something. I'm not really interested in whatever it is, right? So I'll go over here and let me open this. You are seeing some sections called as builders and provisioners, right? So what is this builder? Builder will tell about this arrow, whether you want to create an image in AWS, whether you want to create an image in Azure, whether you want to create an image in Google Cloud, whether you want to create an image in VMware. And provisioning, what is provisioning? After you create a machine, after that any custom work which you want to do is called as provisioning. That's it. That's the same definition, that doesn't change. So in Packer, we need to learn about builders, and we'll be looking at two builders. One is Amazon builder, the other one is Azure builder, right? Because cloud are important. And I will navigate you through VirtualBox builder also. And VirtualBox builder is a real nonsense work. I'll show you why at the later point of time. But remember, here you are going to get jobs not for building images for virtual machines. You will get jobs for building machines in the cloud. You will get the jobs for building reusable images for clouds. So if you are good at Amazon, that is enough. Let us try also Azure. Just as so that you can basically write a couple of points in your resume saying that using Packer I have built images in Amazon and Azure, because those are most widely used clouds at this moment. Fine. Did we understand the concept? Now in this case, the input is a JSON file, and where do you want to build it? What do we call it as? Builder. Okay, and after building this, any custom work which you want to do, we call it as right. And this is what we do in Packer. Okay, Packer is used for reusable image creation, and remember, this is all automated, so that what you can do is you can do these activities whenever your application has changed. So tomorrow you got a new release for your application, new version of your application. Just run a simple command, you will get a reusable cloud image. You tell your marketing team, testing team, saying that this is my image ID, from now on use this. Done. Right? Remember, this is not for machine creation, this is for image creation. If you want to create a machine, you have to use the image, just like how I have used Red Hat. Right? Packer is never for creating a machine, it is creating for machine image. Yeah, Packer, while creating the image, it might need to create a machine, that's a different story. But the output of Packer is always a reusable image. So am I clear with this? Right? So in your companies, you might be using Packer to create a reusable images for applications or dev environments, whatever your team wants. I'll look at questions on the web and they'll take a question from me. Yes. Image in the sense, can I assume it as a build? No, image in the sense you can use it, you can think of it as your operating system CD. Right? You want Windows 7 on your laptop. You have purchased your laptop, there is no operating system. What is that you do? You will use a CD or a bootable USB where you will have Windows operating system, and then probably you will try to install. So what is the USB or CD doing there? It is a reusable image, right? Reusable image of Windows operating system. You are using the same thing, right? So that is what it is, right? And you can use the same CD into other laptop also. Yes or no? It is not meant for one laptop, right? Yeah, license might be meant for one, but the image as such is meant for many. That's the whole point. Yeah. 750 hours per month, not for whole year. Siri, actually I'm shouting. Okay. Is Packer same as Docker? No. Yeah. They might sound the same. Yeah, they might sound same, but they are not same. Right. But if there are some concepts which might confuse there. In Docker also we have a concept called as Docker image. In Packer also we are calling something as an image, but the purpose is actually different. Yeah. Fine. Are we clear with this? Yes, you had a question. Packer for Linode, I think there is. We will check whether there is a builder for that or not. So if a builder is supported, you can do it for anything. You have to just find out whether there is a builder for Linode or not. We'll look into that. I'm not sure about Linode. Yeah, but DigitalOcean is supported to my knowledge. Linode, I'm not sure. Okay. Is Packer same as VMDK or OVA file? I would not call it as same as, because OMDK, OVA file and VMDK files are heavy files, but Packer is a simple JSON file. Yeah, the output of the reusability of it is, it will sound much like a Vagrant file, simple file where it will do many things for you. Yeah, Docker also we create. That's the whole point which I was trying to tell. Since there is a concept called as image there, you might think Docker and Packer are same, but Docker is for containers and Packer is for virtual machines. In Packer there is a Docker builder, but I don't want to confuse you there. Yeah, okay, fine then. So let us just look at what are the builders and provisioners that are supported in Packer. So for that, I'll go to the Packer's documentation. I'll go to the Packer site. Boy, Packer ante ekkadiko potundi. Right. So this is Packer. Let me get into the documentation of it. And in documentation, if you see, I'm not worried about post processor yet, but let me just look at it builders. Okay. So you have Ali Cloud, you have Amazon, you have EC2, you have many different things. Yeah, you don't have Linode over here. Yeah. Okay, fine. So these are all the different builders which you can build. All right. So over here there is Docker also, but don't try to even think of Packer plus Docker combination. We are not going to do that. That is a very crazy and nonsense combination. It doesn't make sense at all. Right. Okay. So from Packer, these are all the builders which are supported, and we are interested in Amazon and Azure. Okay. Let me scroll down. There is also, and there is also, that's the whole point which I'm trying. So almost all the popular virtualizers are supported over here. You have hypervisors as well as clouds. All right. So builder is where do you want to create this image, right? Provisioning is basically, it will tell after you have created this basic stuff, what is that you want to do. I want to install Java in my image, so that is provisioning. I want to install Tomcat in my machine, that is provisioning. I want to install my application, that is provisioning. So you will try to build, and then after building you will try to do your application deployment activity. So that is builder plus provisioner. Post processing is conversion. Post processing is conversion. Let me tell you a simple example of post processing. So are you seeing VirtualBox over there? So I can use a builder which is VirtualBox. So it will create a VirtualBox file, right? And VMware, which will create a VMDK file or OVA file, whatever it is, right? Post processor, what I can do is I can use the same VMware file to create a Vagrant image, to create a Vagrant box. That is post processor. Post processor is after you have done your work, do you want to convert this to some other format also, right? So that is what it is. That is what many open source people do, but we might not generally do it. We'll basically stick to processors, provisioners plus builder combination. That is more than enough, right? And whenever we are writing this file, we need to write this in JSON. We need to write this in JSON, right? Today morning only I have unnecessarily spoke about JSON in Azure class. All right, I should have stopped myself. Yeah, whatever it is. So we should basically know how to write about a JSON file, right? That's the basic requirement. Is it clear now? Yes. Okay. So whenever your company says I want reusable images in Amazon Cloud, Azure Cloud, or whatever it is, my solution which I would think is a Packer. And remember, this Packer can be called from any continuous integration machine. This Packer can be called from any continuous integration machine. For example, you have Jenkins where you are building the code daily. So from there itself you can call Packer. So for the people who don't know about Jenkins, I have not spoken anything, and you have also not listened to anything. So there was some disturbance, right? So don't worry about that. This is for the people who already know what Jenkins is, right? So this is very much essential tool as part of DevOps journeys, because some companies don't really create environments. They create environments whenever they are in need. So in that case, images become very important. Some companies create environments directly. In that case, Terraform becomes important, right? When you want images, you need Packer. When you want environments, you need Terraform. That's the whole point, right? Fine. Good. Now let me look at questions. If I install Tomcat on my image, it should also be installed in original one. What is original over here? If I install a Tomcat on my image, yeah, it should be, right? So for example, any installation, what is it? So if you want to understand any installation on any system, what is, so for example, I have installed Microsoft Office. I shut down my laptop. So when I shut down, what is installation all about? You have installed Google Chrome. You have shut down the machine. Will your machine still know that, okay, this guy has installed Google Chrome and I should be protecting this? Any installation is nothing but some folders in your on your hard disk, yes or no? And they will be configured to run on some purpose, some during startup, some will be present in path variable and all of that. So whenever you are creating an image, essentially what you are creating is hard disk content. Any image in this world is all about hard disk content, right? That will be basically cloned onto your hard disk and everything will work. That's the whole point. Any software is like that, right? In Windows you might have registry also along with that, but registry is also a hard disk content. So any image which you are going to create is nothing but a complete series of data which is stored on your hard disk. That's it, nothing more than that. Yeah. What exactly environment is? For example, you have created an application, right? And you want to give a release to the testing team. We will not be able to give production servers, right? So what we do is we create a separate kind of work area for them. That is what we call as environment. Test environment, dev environment, QA, performance testing environment. These are all different areas for different categories of testing. Can you please give me some more example of reusable images? What is the some more? So let us assume that you want to since I know that to my knowledge he's from QA. So you want Jira. You want to have Jira, right? And you are exploring Jira. You are not, your company is using something like Quality Center right now, right? So for basically getting Jira up, what I would tell you is take a Windows server, in that download this file, add these environmental variables, do all of this nonsense for 1 hour, and then you will get Jira. Is that a better option? Or there is an image over there, double click it, you will get a Jira machine. Which is a better option for you? So in the second approach, I have something which will give you something out, which will give you an executable environment. So giving some sort of reusable image is a better choice for me rather than asking you to install every time. Install every time. So that's the whole point of reusable image. All right. Yeah. What should I tell now? What is Jira? Jira is a defect management software, right? Where you can raise defects of your application. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine then. Now let us try to think about how do I write this Packer file. All right. I'll just create the environment over here. First thing is I want to create an environment for writing Packer file. Second thing is I want to have Packer installed on my system. I want to have Packer installed on my system. So let us look at installing Packer first, and then let us worry about how to write Packer, right? So Packer HashiCorp are using download. Click on this, and you have various operating systems and various mechanisms over here, right? But are we going to use this? No, I don't want to download. I don't want to do double click. No way. So we have discussed about a tool called as Chocolatey on Windows. So what I would do is I would search for something called as Choco. Okay. So for the people who have joined and you are seeing Chocolatey for the first time, please take the earlier recording. This is nothing but a tool which we install, right? Which will help us to install other softwares. So what is the command over here? Choco install. That's it. Done. Now open PowerShell in an administrative mode, and let me see if I have Packer in the system first. Packer hyphen. Unfortunately, I have Packer. So let me do this. Choco. I am uninstalling and installing it again. Yeah, I have uninstalled Packer. And in Windows, after you do anything, it is always safer to launch a. So Choco install Packer -y. Done. So for the people who don't have Choco in your Windows system, right? Just see installing Chocolatey. You have to copy one command, run it in a command prompt as an administrator. That's it. You don't need to do too many things over here. So if you see, this tool itself is downloading Packer for me, and it would install Packer for me. It would create environment variables, whatever is required. So I am safe. Once this command is done, though, I can start using Packer directly. Right? Okay. So installation is finished. I don't want to do anything. I'll relaunch always, since I am on Windows. Right? Now Packer hyphen. So I have 1.3.1. So Packer is installed on my system, right? Okay. Now I want to use Packer to build what? Amazon machine images, right? So whenever you want to use Packer to build something in Amazon, you need some Amazon softwares also. You need some Amazon softwares also. So the Amazon software which you want for this purpose is AWS CLI. Go over here. Install whatever operating system which you belong to. Okay. Are you seeing this? If you are on a 64-bit or a 32-bit Windows, download this, double click, click next until it says finished. Or go with Chocolatey and say that Choco AWS CLI. So you can copy this command and execute this in the PowerShell. Let me see if I have AWS CLI. I have. I'm not going to install AWS CLI again. Okay. So you can install that Choco, install AWS CLI, and you will get AWS CLI installed on your system. All right. So for example, if you have an older version and if you want to move to the new version in Choco, what you can do is Choco upgrade AWS CLI. AWS CLI is not installed. What is this nonsense? Okay, whatever it is, let it do whatever it wants to. Anyway, from tomorrow my machine is different. It is not the same machine, so it's okay. So it is doing the download and it does upgrade to the new version, right? So you can use Chocolatey for all of your installations, so that you are doing it from command line. You are not going to the web and searching everything. The only thing which you search for is the command. The only thing which you search for is the basic command. And even for that command, there is no need for you to really go to internet. There is one more way. What you can do is you can say Choco search AWS, and he will give you the whole list of whatever are the software that are present with AWS. From this you can find whatever is interesting you and you can execute that command. So there is no need for you to even go to the browser and find it out. Similarly, Choco search Packer, Choco search Vagrant. You can do all the searches from command line. But using from Google is much simpler. Here you have to find it out whether it is the right version or not, right? So always use Google, but there is no need for using Google. You can also use this command. Yeah. So you have Packer installed. Good. And AWS CLI is also installed. So similarly, whenever you are going for Azure, we will install Azure CLI. Whenever we are going with Google, we might install Google CLI also, right? Whatever cloud, you need to have builder software also. You need to have builder software also. For example, I cannot use Packer to build the VirtualBox image if VirtualBox is not installed on my system. So you need to have that software, right? So that is what we are trying to do. So I am trying to install Packer as well as cloud provided software. The only thing which you require is AWS CLI in this case. All right. And after this, let me go to the folder. Some folder. What folder should I go? Let me go over here itself. I'll create a new folder and I will call it as Packer. And over here, let me open. Don't I have Visual Studio Code over here? I think I will definitely have it. It's okay. Okay. You open Visual Studio Code, and we need one more last stuff here, which is an extension. And I'll be searching an extension for something called as Packer. Do I have anything? No. So unfortunately, I have to type these commands manually, right? But if you go to the tools like Terraform, you might have extensions. The moment you have extensions, writing that file becomes simple. If you don't have an extension, you have to write all the different commands, right? Okay, whatever it is. So whenever you're using any tool, tomorrow if you want to write Docker, tomorrow if you want to use any other software, Ansible, in Visual Studio Code is what we write basic scripting. So search for the extensions. Are you getting some extensions? These extensions will help you in writing the script faster. Will help you in writing the script faster. That's the whole point. All right. Now let me go over here. In Packer, the file which I create is the basic. Let me call it as build dot. And Packer file will have some basic structure to it. Some basic structure to it. So that structure is, since it is a JSON file, it starts from curly braces, right? And we said that it has two important things which have to be done. One is builders, the other one is provision, right? Out of which builder is mandatory. It is not required to have provisioning. Provisioning is an optional stuff, right? Let me go to the website over here, where I think I've opened some stuff. Are you seeing this? Okay. You have to just write builders colon square bracket. Square bracket is generally an array notation, right? Where it tells that I'm trying to tell about multiple things. Yes. Okay. And then provisioners. And provisioners is also an done. This is a basic structure. Okay. So what is the structure? Why am I writing square brackets like this? Why am I writing array elements like that? That is the JSON stuff. We'll discuss about it. Our next class is about that, right? And now builder. What is a builder which you want to use? Let us assume that this is a concern. Okay. I want to use the Amazon builder. I want to use the Amazon builder. So what I do is I go to the documentation. Where is my Packer documentation? I go to my builders and I say that I am interested in Amazon. And in Amazon, there are many things, but I'll select this. I'll tell you what those things are, but we'll select EBS volume. That is what you are supposed to use on Amazon, right? And once you scroll down, okay, you are seeing certain fields over here. You are seeing something like access key required, instance type required, region required, and these are all the optional fields. Okay, the rest of all are the optional fields. Okay, scroll down. Okay, and these are all the different fields which you can put, and this is a basic example. This is how your Amazon builder will look like. Okay, so let us not worry too much about it. Let me blindly copy and paste this. Okay, we'll learn what that is at a later point of time, but for now let me just copy and paste this. That's it. Okay, so we have written some sort of a builder which creates some image in Amazon. Since we don't have a knowledge, we have blindly copy pasted it. We don't know what it does, but if we understand these things, we'll understand absolutely what we are trying to do. So the basic image creation process is, in any cloud, if you want to create an image, you have to tell to the image creation process, you are creating the image, wonderful, but you are creating the image from which image? I can't create an image out of nothing. So whenever I want to create an image, I have to tell what is the stuff which you want to create an image from. So for example, you said that your team tells that I want a Tomcat. Good. So where do you want Tomcat? On a Windows server or on a Linux server? So they might say that I want it on a Linux server. Okay. In Linux, which operating system do you want? Ubuntu. Which version? 16. So then you will go to the Amazon and find out what is the image which has Ubuntu 16 already. You will take that image, right? And what is the extra stuff you have to do? You have to install Tomcat there. So you will take the source image, which is Ubuntu 16, and then you will write a provisioning script which is all about basically installing Tomcat, right? You will write all of this in a JSON file or whatever file which I am trying to create, and you will basically execute a command, very simple command called as packer build. If everything has gone successfully, this command will create an image in your cloud account. That's the whole point, right? So similarly, if let us assume that I don't want to use AWS, I want to use something else. So let me go over here. Let us assume that I want to use VMware. All right, it doesn't matter, things are same for us. So in VMware, there are two things: VMware ISO and VMware. So let us assume I want to take VMware ISO. I'll scroll down. So this is a basic example. Okay, copy this. Okay, we'll understand what they are, but this is your builder. That is your builder, right? So builder is not very difficult stuff. It is, where do you want to build and what are the different values which you want to give while you are building this image, right? So whenever you are using Packer to build something, you should have a basic knowledge on that builder also. For example, I cannot build an Amazon image if I don't know how to build an image in Amazon manually. So we'll build images in Amazon and Azure manually, and then we will try to apply the same process from Packer, which is an automated way of creating the image. Right? So I have 6 minutes of time. I will not be able to create a reusable image. Shall I try that? We already have some Red Hat machine, right? Shall I try creating a reusable image? Yes. So in Amazon, to create a reusable image, you should have some virtual machine already. Do we have a virtual machine? I think we have created it just now, right? We have this machine. Okay. Let us assume that I want to create a machine where Git is already installed. Some software. The basic software which I want to create is Git. So what is the first step? Create a virtual machine. Take whatever operating system which you want. In our case, I have taken what? Red Hat. Okay, I have my PEM file over here, right? So I have to use the location. I have taken the Red Hat machine, created the virtual machine, and now in this I want to I want to install some softwares. The software which I want to install are Git and Tree. What is the software which I want? Git and Tree. So your company has told you, I want a machine with Git and Tree installed. They might not be very fancy softwares, but let us start with simple stuff. Git and Tree installed. So what I do is I create a virtual machine with Red Hat, and in this I am installing Git. Sudo yum install Git. This is a Git basic installation command. Okay, and one more stuff is I want to install Tree. So what is that you have done? You have installed Git and Tree. Let me see if it is working or not. So Git hyphen hyphen. So there is some Git version. Similarly, Tree. I'm getting something. So it is not saying command not found. It is giving me some out. So in this machine, I have installed Git and Tree. Now I want to create an image out of it. I want to create what? A reusable image out of it. In Amazon, how do you do that is, after you create this, okay, are you seeing this? You just say actions. Are you seeing image? And then you click on create image. You enter whatever name it is. So you will say that I want to create an image which is called as my RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and then you just say create image. So to create the image, what is important here now? You need to have a virtual machine. You need to have a virtual machine, and in that virtual machine, you need to install softwares, whatever your application is. Then you are creating a reusable image. Once you create this reusable image, get into this section called as in images. You have AMI, and if you see, it is trying to build my RHEL. If you see, I have images already for Jenkins, image already for LAMP-stack, and image already for SonarQube server. So basically, to create an image in AWS, this is a process. Now, what I want Packer to do is, I want Packer to do all of this. I want Packer to do all of this. So Packer, to create an image, we need to tell what is the machine which you have to create, right? And Packer has to create virtual machine in your account, yes or no? So you need to tell about some credentials. You need to tell about some credentials. Then basically, after creating the machine, then you need to tell what are the steps that you need to install. For example, in this case, we have done sudo yum install git space tree -y. You have to tell this to Packer, right? And after this, you have to tell Packer to do the same thing, right click, create image. So I've done right click, but Packer will do all of this stuff from command line, right? So this is what we are asking Packer to do. Exactly, this is what we are asking Packer to do. We are asking Packer to create a virtual machine, to do some installation steps, and then create a reusable image, right? And this reusable image, from now on, if you want to create a machine with Git and Tree, what I can do is, let us just see. We have seen EC2 machine creation, right? Yeah, I'll click on launch instance. This time I'll select my AMIs. And are you seeing my image which we have created just now, my RHEL? Oh, it is still not created yet. Okay, let me do refresh. Launch instance. No, it is not, still not created. But are you seeing the other images which I have created? I have created these images also with the same process. So I'm seeing this reusable images. So whenever you want to create, you will basically create using the images whatever you have built out of Packer. That's the whole point. So to build this image, we have given name, right? I have given the name as my RHEL. So you have to tell to Packer that what should be the image name, right? These are the kinds of details. So you are delegating all of this work which you do manually to a tool called as Packer. So to that Packer, you need to provide essential details. You need to provide essential details, and that is what all of the builder is about. All of the builder is all about what is the machine details, what are your credentials, right? And basically after that, it will tell you what should be your image's name, right? In which location should it create? Should it be in which data center it should be available? All of that stuff. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. In Packer, we are doing nothing but this. And why do we do this? Because whenever your application is built, your application can easily be available if you have a reusable image. if you have a reusable image, right? There is no need for you to run this application. You will have an image. Whenever you want this application, just create a machine out of this image. Done. Am I clear with this? Yes, right? Okay, so that is what we do in Packer, right? In the next class, let us understand JSON structures and let us try to do the same activity. Okay, whatever I have done with respect to creating the image, right? So we will see how do I pass my credentials to Packer, how do I pass this AWS specific details to Packer. So this is what my next class would be on, right? Which is on Monday. So am I clear with this? Right? Okay. Now let me have a last round of questions, whatever I want to. Can we install image with software installed like LAMP, which have a hosted site? Okay. My always answer to question, my question, if you ask this question in Packer, is it possible in Packer? My simple answer to that is it possible via command line? The question which you are asking, is it possible for you to take a Linux machine and do whatever you are asking from command line? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, you can do it from Packer. If the answer is yes, you can do it from Packer. If the answer is no, right, you cannot do it from command prompt, or you cannot do it from shell prompt. Fine. Can you do it from Ansible? Can you do it from Chef? Can you do it from PowerShell DSC? If the answer is yes, you can still do it from Packer. That's the whole point. In Packer, we can basically do any kind of installations which can be done from command line, which can be done from some kind of tools like Ansible, Chef, and all of that. And that is what provisioning is all about. That is what provisioning is all about. Now, if you go to the Packer world, we have seen 1 minute. Let me go over here. These are all builders, right? Okay. Are you seeing provisioners? So these are all the provisioners which are supported. So you can do your installations using any of those provisioners. So if you're asking, is it possible in Packer? My answer is it possible in Ansible? Or is it possible in Chef? Or is it possible using something called as Converge or PowerShell or Puppet or Salt or Shell, right? Or Windows Shell. These are the whole thing. So this is what you can do. And there is something called as custom, where you can write your programming languages also over there. So anything which you ask, 99% of the things are possible from there, right? So if you now you are learning Packer and you might not know Ansible at this date, but you'll be learning Ansible very soon. Once you learn Ansible, try one installation with this, right? Use Ansible to do something from Packer. That's the whole point, right? But in this class, I'll be majorly using Shell. But for the people who know Ansible or Chef, I would expect them to use that, right? Because there are some people in the room who know Ansible and Chef already, right? For them, you go with that. But in this classroom, I'll be primarily focusing on Shell. But are you seeing different options over here? Fine. So is now the answer clear? Is it possible in Packer? My stuff is the builder available? And the steps which you are following, is it possible via those methods? If they are possible, yes, it is. Otherwise, it is not. Yeah, that's the whole point. Fine. Do coding required to learn these provisioning tools? No, not at all. No. If you say that, do I need to become like a Java developer or a Python developer? No, not really. Right? In DevOps, you will be doing scripting itself. So I will not say that you don't need a programming language, but at least you should have a scripting intelligence. So when to write the basic conditional statements, iterative statements, that is what I expect out of you. Nothing more than that. Right? That is the next step. If you are really looking for next step in DevOps, become a programmer.